If you haven't heard, I'm bald and he's husky, and this is our first attempt at a YouTube video where I decided that I wanted to challenge a professional to a round of golf. But I don't know anyone on the PGA Tour, so I did what any reasonable person would do. I joined it. But before I start playing myself, I want to go to the range and compare my swing to that of my 2K golfer. Now, obviously, I wanted this to be an even and fair competition. That meant to me, we needed to use the exact same clubs, and this presents the first problem. If you're not familiar with 2K23, it locks clubs behind sponsorships, and sponsorships are progressed based on how well you can play the video game. You see my problem? Let me explain it this way. The real-life driver that I use is the TSI-3 by Titleist. That's the max level reward from their sponsor in the game. I'm not good enough at video games to even earn the Titleist sponsorship, let alone progress at 9 levels. And that was only for one club. I need 14. The rest of my irons are level 6 on Mizuno's sponsorship. This was going to take forever. I thought about buying the real clubs, then I remembered I'm broke. So the only option I had was to grind and grind, blood, sweat, and tears, hours on hours, to unlock those clubs. With the clubs unlocked, all we need to do now is swing. This chart's going to track our averages between me and my 2K golfer, and we'll hopefully find that I'm not outmatched. Now, I've come to terms with the fact that he is just going to be a better golfer. But my hope for this competition is that my inability to play video games handicaps him just enough to make it interesting. We're starting this competition off with the illegal 69-degree wedge. If you have this club in the bag, I hope you also wear a face mask because your chin is at risk every time you swing. A full swing goes about 60 yards, but if I'm being honest, I only ever use this thing out of the sand because it's a coin flip if I'm going to actually hit it in the air. My opponent, however, doesn't have this club. So I'm counting this as a win, getting this competition off to a good start. We're happy. I have a feeling people are going to tell me I just cheated, but when my opponent's on the tour, I don't have a problem with getting a little cheeky to give myself an advantage. The next club we're using is the Callaway Jaws 60-degree wedge. I'm using this exact club. My opponent is using some generic lob wedge because the game doesn't actually tell you what loft you're using. If you haven't played 2K, you need to understand how the swing is controlled. It's called the swing stick. You pull back and then you push forward on the right stick of the controller, and you need to do it at the perfect angle and a controlled speed so that the golf shot goes where you want it. If you go too fast like I always do, it hooks left. This ball flight and distance is the closest to average that I hit, about 122 yards with a professional draw. Now here's some ASMR. The average of my 60-degree shots was exactly how I play this on the course. I want it to go about 100 yards, and I'm expecting it to go into the clouds and then plug wherever it hits. I get absolutely no movement with this club once it's on the ground. Now, because my opponent hit this ambiguous lob wedge, he's going to take the win on the distance. We're not thrilled about it, but we do what we can and we move on. Specifically to the Callaway Jaws Raw 54-degree wedge. Again, my opponent has an ambiguous sand wedge, and again, I am impatient and swing the stick too fast, pushing his shot left. On the course, I'm expecting this club to go about 115 to 125 depending on the day. I'm not that dialed in with it yet. It's fairly new to me. But my average of 10 goes right at that 125 range, so we're hitting it exactly how we expect. The thing that I was most excited about was how tight this grouping is, because at my level of golf, it doesn't get much better than that. Still, though, I got to give this one away to the professional and his sand wedge, and at this point in the competition, I'm starting to wonder if it's out of hand, because the only thing on my side of the board is the one that he didn't even swing. But I think I know what the problem is. These 3 clubs weren't fitted. All the rest of my clubs in the bag have been custom fit to maximize performance. My irons are the Mizuno JPX 921 Hot Metal Pro with the KBS Tour C-Taper 130X shafts. If you don't know what this means, just pretend that I'm swinging an aluminum baseball bat because with your eyes closed, they feel the exact same. There is no bend in these clubs. The experience is even rounded out by the oversized wrap grips that I use. So with my custom irons on deck, I know I'm about to make this a better competition. Here's the gap wedge. All right. Pitching wedge. Nope. 9 iron. Any day now. 8 iron. Come on. Looks like my opponent left a window open here for me. He only hit the 8 iron about 175. 176. I expect my 8 iron to go about 185. So if I hit it well, and I did, I finally got one on my side of the board. I need to win this 7 iron competition because I'm about to get blown out. But his is only supposed to go 193, which makes me confident because I know that when I hit my 7 iron consistently, it's going 205 plus. All I have to do is... Okay. Well, moving on to the long irons, which I am not good with. Apparently 220 with the 5 iron was enough to get the win here, but look at the spread of that club. You just don't know where it's going. It was not good performance. I have no confidence in myself with these long irons, and I mean, there's good reason for it. I mean, you can just watch my 4 iron swing here. The only reason that club is coming out of the bag is to chip out to the fairway under some low-hanging branches. But when I'm hitting that about 240 when I make solid contact, the only reason that I use it on a full-powered swing is on maybe a short par 4 where my 3-wood is too much club. But otherwise, these don't see the light of day. I need to work on it to start lowering my scores, but it's just not a big part of my game right now. Moving into the 3-wood and the driver, I use the Titleist TSI 3 with the Hazardous Smoke extra stiff shafts. Just like my irons, think baseball bat. I usually hit my 3-wood a little better than my long irons, but I'm attributing that to the ball being in the tee box. I sprayed this all over the course and a couple shanks really dropped my distance, so par for the course, I lost to the pro. It is pretty discouraging to see all of that red on my side of the scoreboard, but we're moving into the driver, and like any good ego golfer, if I can outdrive a pro, I can take that moral victory to the grave. This is my favorite club, probably just because of the sound it makes. Nobody would take me seriously as a golf YouTuber if I didn't say the thing, so here it goes. I was expecting a lot more distance on that shot. This was enough to beat the pro though, and I'll never complain about that. But shot for shot, I just wasn't consistent enough to keep up. As a golfer, I can admit when I've been beaten. But as a YouTube golfer, I'm not allowed to admit that I hit bad shots. And I think it's fair to say in golf, you need to have a short memory. You can't dwell on missed opportunities. When I run the averages again, taking away the duff balls and the shanks that I hit with the longer clubs, it's clear to see that when I truly hit the ball, it's going 10 to 15 yards farther than my virtual counterpart. I'm going to leave the decision of who won this head-to-head up to the comments section though. Let us know what you think. Since we're comparing distances, shouldn't I only count the shots that I hit properly? Or do you think I cheated because all 10 shots have to be included? Like and subscribe for future videos. Thanks for watching.